माननीय सभासद, माननीय सभापति जी।
Question 91.
Yes, sir.
Let the answer be given. Supplementaries.
Honorable Chairman, sir, Honorable Minister has replied, at present there is no proposal to set up any ordnance factory in the country. My question, first question is that, in view of the fact that the materials that our ordnance factory is producing for our defense network, they are not being able to meet the need of the defense, our defense forces, and we have to procure a part of that from the outside ordnance factory network. And in view of the present situation in our present ordnance factory network, there is a serious need for their modernization, updating of their technologies, and also filling up of vacancies because of the natural separation of the ordnance factory employees. A lot of vacancies are there. So the manpower addition is required, modernization is required, updating of technology is required in the interest of our defense workforce. Whether Honorable Minister will consider, in view of all these, in modernizing our, strengthening our present ordnance factory network, including recruitment of manpower, and also plan for expanding its network by setting up new ordnance factories in the interest of our defense workforce, so that we have to remain dependent on ourselves alone to meet the major need of our defense force.
Speaker sir, the question is about ordnance factories. Government at this stage does not consider it as required to increase the number of ordnance factories. But that does not mean government does not consider increasing the capacity and functioning of the existing ordnance factories. I like to mention that last 5 years the ordnance factories are hovering in 10,000, 11,000 production range, and what we have done is we have planned to increase it to 13,500 this year during the current year, 15,351 crores for the year thereafter, 20,000 in 17-18 and around 22,000 by 18-19. Now this will be achieved by one modernization, for which during the year that just passed by, 14-15, 1,302 crores have been spent on modernization. In next year, the plan is for 2,632 crores for modernization, 16-17, 3,400. So these 3 years itself for modernization, lot of amount will be pumped into ordnance factories, by which production will increase. Yes, we are aware that number of total workforce is coming down. We intend to find out which are the workforce required by the ordnance factory for improving the production, like technical and specific, and we will definitely consider employing this or filling in the gap in wherever it is required. But ordnance factories also have been told to increase the vendor list, so that they can increase the list of vendors, so that they can increase their production, not necessarily everything by doing everything in the in-house, but also getting help of small scale, medium scale industries to supply them this contract, for which this year, from this year onwards, we have started issuing orders for 3 years of requirement.
Thank you.
Together.
Second supplementary.
Sir, my second supplementary is that at the outset I like to thank Honorable Minister for his elaborate and assuring answer. Here I like to raise a point about the manpower. No doubt, along with the development of technology, the same manpower may not be required after the technology is changed. But there are, I am sure whether Minister will inquire, there are two types of separation. One is because of that this same manpower may not be required. But still there are certain areas where in the core production area, the separation that has been taken place, that is not being fully filled up, and that is affecting the utilization of the capacity of the ordnance, those ordnance factory to the fullest extent. My point is that will the Honorable Minister inquire in this aspect, particularly whether because of non-replenishment of the workmen who are getting separated, those vacancies, whether our production utilization, capacity utilization and augmentation of production is affected or not. I have a report that they are affected in certain areas and some serious inquiry is required there so that our ordnance factory productivity does not suffer
Thank you.
in the greater interest of the nation.
Honorable Chairman, sir, the manpower from 10 to 11 has reduced from 97,574 to 92,464. That means around 5,000 has retired. Now I agree with Honorable Member that in certain categories we do require replacement, and we are already working out the areas where this replacement is required. In fact, in some areas we might require a new type of manpower, better, because for example in Kanpur we have got CNC machines. We require to train the old manpower, plus we may require to get in new manpower who has a competence or technical training for operation of CNC machines. So we will examine this, and definitely manpower wherever required will be engaged.
Thank you. Shri Premchand Gupta.
कहा कि नई ऑर्डिनेंस फैक्ट्री बनाने का कोई अभी विचार नहीं है। मैं आपके इस विचार से सहमत हूं कि सरकार द्वारा नई ऑर्डिनेंस फैक्ट्री बनाने की आवश्यकता नहीं है, लेकिन जो अभी एग्जिस्टिंग ऑर्डिनेंस फैक्ट्रीज हैं आपकी, आप उनको मॉडर्नाइज करिए, आप उनको स्ट्रेंथन करिए। अभी क्या हो रहा है कि आपकी जो कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन है वो बाहर की कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन से बहुत ज़्यादा है। श्रीमान जी, इजराइल जैसा एक छोटा सा मुल्क पूरी दुनिया में अपने हथियार सप्लाई करता है। जो सेंट्रल एशिया का सेंट्रल यूरोप की कंट्रीज हैं, छोटी छोटी कंट्रीज हैं, सब लोग अपने बड़े बड़े मतलब इस्टेब्लिशमेंट को यूज़ करके एक्सपोर्ट करते थे। हमारे पास टेक्नोलॉजी है, हमारे पास मैन पावर है, हमारे पास विल है। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा कि मेक इन इंडिया, तो मेक इन इंडिया खाली बोलने से नहीं होगा। आपने मेक इन इंडिया को फैक्चुअली उसको कैसे अमली जामा पहनाना है, उसके बारे में आपने क्या प्लान किया? 1400 करोड़ रुपया मॉडर्नाइजेशन के लिए आपने रखा है, इज नथिंग। आज आप 1400 करोड़ आप बोलते हैं कि हमने नेक्स्ट ईयर में मॉडर्नाइजेशन के लिए रखा है। ये तो दिस इज नथिंग, दिस इज अ बिगर अमाउंट। अभी आपकी $200 बिलियन की अगले 10 साल में परचेज होनी है। मान्यवर, मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि क्या हम हमारे देश को एक डिफेंस प्रोडक्ट्स का मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हब बना के मैन्युफैक्चरिंग एंड एक्सपोर्ट हब बना सकते हैं या नहीं बना सकते, और उसके लिए सरकार की क्या लॉन्ग टर्म प्लानिंग है?
एक तो वन थिंग आई would like to stress that जो मॉडर्नाइजेशन चल रहा है वो एग्जिस्टिंग फैक्ट्रीज में चल रहा है। उसमें काफ़ी हद तक इसमें इक्विपमेंट नए लाने के बारे में जो एब्सोल्यूशंस आ गया है उसमें बदलाव करने के लिए नए इक्विपमेंट लाने के लिए खर्चा है, और वो एक बरस में नहीं। करंट ईयर वी हैव प्लान 2600, 1400 जो बोले वो जो बरस अभी हो गया है फाइनेंशियल ईयर विच passed by, that is 14-15, we have spent around 1400. Next year we are spending 2600 and उसके बाद में around 3400. So ये जो this is a continuous process for 11th plan and 12th plan. So total पैसा ये plan इसमें 9000 से ऊपर ज़्यादा खर्चा है. Secondly, the kind of product which are manufactured by ordnance factories, they are gross on large scale have been indigenized. Make in India का अगर किधर success है, there may be some cost factor involved, बट मेक इन इंडिया का अगर किधर सक्सेस है तो ऑर्डिनेंस फैक्ट्री है. 85.4% of the products of ordnance factories are indigenous make, and only 14.6 has imported component in it.
Thank you. No disruption, please. Gupta ji, we cannot have a discussion. Please observe the procedure. Please, there is no discussion on this.
एक तो मैं इतना कहना चाहता हूँ कि 1950s में अगर ऑर्डिनेंस फैक्ट्री चालू हो गई, इसका मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि प्रोडक्ट 1950s का है.
Bhai, please, I do not want a discussion. Just take the answer.
Only say that the products are suitable to the latest requirement of the army. We are not manufacturing products which are age old. We have been already changing our technologies, and we are spending money in-house for technology development, under which even a gun, 155 by 45 का गन धनुष्य सक्सेसफुली हम लोगों ने डेवलप कर दिया है, और उसका अभी सप्लाई आर्मी को चालू होनी है.
Thank you. Shri Sharad Yadav.
श्रीमान मंत्री जी जो जवाब कर रहे हैं वो है नए. हालात देखिए जाकर के ऑर्डिनेंस फैक्ट्रीज की उजड़ गए हैं. मैं जिस शहर से आता हूं जबलपुर से, वो गढ़ था. व्हीकल फैक्ट्री में कौवे और कबूतर रह रहे हैं. चील तो मर गया, कल्चर है नहीं.
प्रश्न पूछ लीजिए.
प्रश्न ये है सर कि माननीय मंत्री जी से मैं कहूंगा कि दूसरे विश्व युद्ध में बहुत बड़े पैमाने पर जो आर्म्स थे वो हमारा देश दूसरे विश्व युद्ध में देता था इन्हीं ऑर्डिनेंस फैक्ट्रीज से. आप जो सुधार की बात कह रहे हैं वो कहीं परिलक्षित नहीं होती, और वर्क फोर्स इतनी तेजी से डिक्लाइन हो रहा है, इतना तेजी से डिक्लाइन हुआ. मैं मानता हूं कि कुछ मामलों में वर्क फोर्स नीचे जाएगा, लेकिन भर्ती बंद हो गई और ऐसी हालत है कि नए रिक्रूटमेंट नहीं हो रहे. तो ये मेरी आपसे विनती है आपके माध्यम से कि आप सब जगह दौरा करके वहाँ के जो फैक्ट्री के कर्ता धर्ता उनसे बात करिए, लेकिन वहाँ के मजदूरों से थोड़ी बात करके देखिए क्या हालत है, क्या था आज से 30 साल पहले, 20 साल पहले, 30, और आज क्या हालत है. इसलिए मेरा आपसे निवेदन है कि क्या आप जाकर के, खास करके आपका कानपुर है, जबलपुर है, पूना है, और हमारे यहाँ नालंदा में जो फैक्ट्री आपने नई लगाई है जॉर्ज फर्नांडिस साहब ने, उसकी हालत क्या है, इसको थोड़ा सा आप रिव्यू करिए तो रास्ता जो है वो आगे बनेगा. मैं इतना ही कहना चाहता हूँ.
Thank you. That's a suggestion which can be.
I'll just say that I have visited 8 factories. कानपुर में सभी फैक्ट्रीज को विजिट किया हूँ, और बाकी अगले 2-3 महीने में मुझे लगता है करीबन सभी फैक्ट्रीज का मेरा विजिट हो जाएगा. स्थिति मुझे मालूम है, उनका सजेशन मैंने ले लिया है, लेकिन थोड़े देर के बाद में उनको इम्प्रूवमेंट दिखे.
Shri Badnor.
Sir, we are talking about renovations and upgradation of the technology. And let me get to the nitty-gritty of it. And the nitty-gritty here is that the ordnance supplies to the civils also. They make 12-bore cartridges, they make Webley, they make 3.315 rifles. They are obsolete. They used to be there 100 years ago. Here's a shooter sitting next to me. Ask him, will he be shooting with these cartridges? Why do they have to import them? But nobody does it because they are so bad, and that you don't. And so how are you going to do it? When are we going to get to that level? Webley, that is 100-year-old pistol, I think it is better if you throw it than fire it.
Barabar, Honorable Chairman Sir, member has raised a valid point.
Is that in the category of friendly fire? Please, please. All right, okay, fine, give notice. Give notice for it.
आप जो कह रहे हैं वो सच है, बिकॉज पिछले ये चीज़ों बदल जो होता है वो 6 महीने 1 बरस में नहीं होता है. बदल करने का चालू हो गया है. वी हैव स्टार्टेड चेंजिंग, वी हैव स्टार्टेड इंडक्टिंग न्यू प्रोडक्ट्स एंड वी हैव ऑल्सो स्टार्टेड गिविंग मोर फ्रीडम्स टू ordnance factories. In fact, they have been asked to go by certain practices which are normally followed by corporate world. उसके ऊपर भी थोड़ा confusion करने की ये हो गई, साजिश हो गई. लेकिन
Factories are not that bad and country is very much depending on them.
see,
Country has fought
Thank you, thank you. No more of this.
opposition is supporting.
No, let's get on to the next question. We have taken too long.
I can
on this
assure
question.
the member
Please.
that
No, please. Please.
points raised by him are already into the consideration of ordnance factory and the defense
Thank you.
ministry, and we will take steps required to ensure that they perform better.
Thank
But I
you.
will like to add that ordnance factory output is pretty steady. It also supplies lot of requirement at more than 85% indigenously manufactured, which is very important, because if make in India किधर हुआ है तो
Thank
with
you.
all defects it is here.
Thank you. Question 92. Question 92.
प्रोडक्शन हमेशा टाइम टेस्टेड रहे हैं, ये भी कहना चाहिए.
Please.
कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स है, बट वी आर प्राउड ऑफ व्हाट ऑर्डिनेंस फैक्ट्री.
No, that's not the
When
issue here.
I said when Kargil started, we multiplied our local capacity production.
This is supportive fire, it's all right.
2.5%.
Question
2.5.
92. Yes, let it be answered.
Sir, question number 92, A to C, a statement is laid on the table of the House.
Supplementaries, please.
Sir, my first supplementary, that generally Down syndrome is detected in the late stage of motherhood till the age of 35. So there is nowadays the couples are postponing parenting till a later date. And probably the children could have been saved from that, because since you are in the answer you have stated there is prenatal testing and all that with blood sample and everything without any invasive surgery. But whether there can be any direction from the government to the physicians for counseling that the children, if they at all want to have child, then it should be before 35 years of age,
Thank
so
you.
that there cannot be any sort of Down syndrome available.
Thank you.
Sir, the member's question is very pertinent and very important, as the syndrome, Down syndrome, is more seen when the conception takes place when the mother is more than 35 years of age. Naturally, the gynecologists and the consultants always give this counseling and see to it. But to include in our program, it's a good suggestion. We shall think into it and we shall think
Thank
about
you.
it. And
Second question.
My second question is that many a time there is a detection of congenital heart disease of the child. But in India in general, surgery is not performed till the child attains the weight of 10 kg. But whereas in some advanced countries they do it early because it needs early intervention. So may I ask the Honorable Minister through you, sir, whether government will issue some directive and give proper training to our physicians and surgeons that in case of necessity, surgery can be performed before the child comes to the weight of 10 kg.
very technical question in the sense that, frankly speaking, at this point of time, I'll not be able to respond accordingly. But yes, the life of the children is very important, and at the same time, the life of mother is also very important. And whatever programs which we are having in NUHM and NHM, it's a program where we always take care about the prenatal and postnatal delivery system. And whatever the interventions are needed, that is being taken care of in rural areas as well as in urban areas. But it's a very technical question which which the honourable member has asked. We'll look into the matter and then.
Thank you. Shri Ramdas Athwale. No. You have asked your second question. What is half question? No, you have already asked two questions.
One small addition.
I'm sorry, you can't depart from procedures. You have asked Shri Athwale, please.
सभापति महोदय, ये पश्चिमी देशों में मानसिक मंदता का जो संख्या है वो मतलब 800 में से जन्मों में से एक होता है, लेकिन अपने भारत देश में 1000 जन्मों में मतलब एक आंकड़ा होता है। लेकिन अभी आपने जो SACE के माध्यम से जब गर्भावस्था में उसका मतलब जांच होता है और उसमें मतलब जांच होने के बाद ये संख्या कोई कम होती है कि नहीं है, और ये जो मतिमंद जो विद्यार्थी होते हैं उनके लिए भारत में कितने स्कूल है और भारत सरकार उनको कितनी मदद कर रही है?
देखिए, जहाँ तक विदेश का सवाल है या वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड का सवाल है, ये आपने प्रश्न ठीक पूछा कि वहाँ 800 केसेस में एक केस होता है और हमारे यहाँ उसका कारण ये है कि वहाँ लेट मैरिजेस होती हैं, और लेट मैरिजेस के साथ साथ जो बच्चे भी होते हैं, कंसीव भी करते हैं, वो मदर्स आर एट द लेटेस्ट स्टेज 30 प्लस 35 प्लस, तो इसलिए वहाँ पर इसके चांसेस ज़्यादा हैं। भारत में शादी जल्दी अर्ली एज में होती है और कंसेप्शन भी अर्ली एज में होता है, इसलिए इसके चांसेस कम होते हैं, पर 1001 होता है। और इसको और डिटेक्शन के माध्यम से और अदर मेथड से हम इसको ठीक करने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं। जहाँ तक डाउन सिंड्रोम का जो बच्चा होता है उसको अर्ली डिटेक्ट कर लिया जाए तो उसके लिए जो हम उसको ट्रीटमेंट देते हैं उसके तहत उसकी क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ को हम इम्प्रूव कर सकते हैं, और उसके लिए हम कार्यक्रम चलाते हैं। जहाँ तक सवाल है कि उनके स्कूल्स के ट्रेनिंग का सवाल है, ये स्वास्थ्य विभाग नहीं देखता, ये अदर डिपार्टमेंट्स देखते हैं, और वो उस दृष्टि से कई स्कूल्स चल रहे हैं।
श्री गुलाम रसूल बलियावी।
माननीय मंत्री महोदय ने अपने जो जवाब में जो सदन को बताया, तो मैं माननीय मंत्री महोदय से ये जानना चाहता हूँ कि ख़ास तौर से मंद बुद्धि वाले बच्चे जिनका ग्रोथ बहुत लेट से हो रहा है, इसके लिए भारत सरकार के द्वारा क्या फ्री इलाज कराने का देश के किसी बड़े अस्पताल में भी सरकार की कोई आने वाले दिनों में या आज के डेट में कोई इस तरह की स्कीम है क्या, और अगर है भी तो वो कौन कौन से हॉस्पिटल हैं जहां इस तरह के बच्चों का आसानी से इलाज किया जा सकता है, और इसका क्या प्रचार प्रसार के माध्यम से देश के लोगों को बताना चाहेंगे?
थैंक यू।
ये राष्ट्रीय बाल स्वास्थ्य कार्यक्रम RBSK के तहत हम 30 काइंड्स के जो डिफेक्ट्स इन बर्थ, चाइल्डहुड डिजीजेस, डेफिशिएंसीज एंड डेवलपमेंट डिलेज एंड डिसेबिलिटीज, इनका हम 4 ब्रॉड इसके हेड्स में 30 डिजीजेज हैं, जो 30 किस्म की डिजीजेज का राष्ट्रीय बाल स्वास्थ्य कार्यक्रम के तहत हम उनका इलाज करते हैं, और इनके इलाज के लिए जो स्थानीय इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं और जो इसके लिए बताई गई इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं उसमें इसकी व्यवस्था है, और इसको हम पूरा अच्छे तरीके से प्रचारित भी करते हैं। मंत्री सदस्य चाहेंगे तो मैं अलग से भी इनको भिजवा दूंगा इस कार्यक्रम की डिटेल्स, और इसमें हम फ्री इलाज करते हैं और उनके इंटरवेंशंस की दृष्टि से जो कुछ भी आवश्यक होता है वो हम करते हैं।
थैंक यू। श्रीमती रेणुका चौधरी।
To the Honorable Minister, you have stated in your statement that in India it is 1 in 1,000 live births that Downs is detected. Is there a database or a data bank that you have that shows, because in your maternal mortality and infant mortality numbers that you have reflected, where does it say that the mothers are above 35 years of age? So number 1A. Do you believe that Downs is only because of maternal late marriages and late procurement of children after depending on the mother's age? There are other symptoms. There are other contributing factors to Down syndrome. Has India taken cognizance of these other factors? What is the devolvement of such information going down right up to the Anganwadis? Have you done anything on that? Also, what is the infrastructure that you have set up for the care and looking after of these children with Down syndromes? And is there a difference in the data of whether Down syndrome is more prevalent in urban cities like breast cancer is than in the rural areas?
Thank you.
Sir, Mr. Chairman, sir, the data from the hospitals in India, 75,103 births showed that the frequency of Down syndrome is reported to be 1 in 920 births. That is 1.09%. 1,000 lives births in the country. This is the data which we have got from the hospitals. This is our first question's answer. And as far as the issue is concerned, research shows that 3 types of chromosome changes can lead to Down syndrome. Complete trisomy 21, mosaic Down syndrome, and translocation Down syndrome. These are the 2 issues which lead to Down syndrome. These are the terminologies which have been used, but these are the reasons for chromosome disorder. There are no known behavioral or environmental factors that cause Down syndrome. This is one aspect which I would like to say. Advancing maternal age, by age of 35, a woman's risk of conceiving a child Down syndrome is about 1 in 350. And by age of 40, the risk is about 1 in 100. And by age of 45, the risk is about 1 in 30. This is the research which shows. And these are the factors which I have told about it. Being carriers of the genetic translocation from Down syndrome, both men and women can pass the genetic translocation of Down syndrome on their children. So it's a genetic issue also, which I have stated, and at the same time, late conception is also one of the reasons.
Thank you. Question 93. You have asked one
Percentage
question.
of hospital
No,
births are
question
very
93.
poor, sir.
Please. You can take the information from the Honorable Minister. Question 93.
Yes, sir.
Answer has been given. Yes, supplementaries, please.
माननीय सभापति जी, आभारी हूं आपने सवाल पूछने का मौका दिया। मेरा पहला सप्लीमेंट्री स्टेट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया के चेयरमैन के एक बयान के संदर्भ में है। उन्होंने 1 फरवरी को यह बयान दिया, आई कोट, पब्लिक सेक्टर यूनिट बैंक्स शुड बी अलाउड टू टैप बेस्ट टैलेंट्स, एसबीआई चेयरमैन। 1973 तक मेरी सूचना के अनुसार बैंकों में प्रतिभाएं आती थी। तब तक कुछ एक बैंकों में तनख्वाह और बेहतर सुविधाएं आईएएस ऑफिसर्स के बराबर थीं, पर 1973 में पिल्लई कमेटी की रिपोर्ट के बाद बड़ा फर्क आया। उदारीकरण के बाद निजी बैंकों की तनख्वाह,
सवाल क्या है?
सवाल पे ही आ रहा हूं सर, सवाल के संदर्भ में। उदारीकरण के बाद निजी बैंकों की तनख्वाह सुविधाएं बड़े पैमाने पर बढ़ी, प्रशासनिक क्षेत्र के लोगों को पे कमीशन की रिपोर्ट से फायदा हुआ, पर सार्वजनिक क्षेत्र के बैंक पिछड़ गए। स्पष्ट कर दूं कि हमारे जैसे लोग,
देखिए, you don't want a statement, we want a question.
सर, उस पर ही मैं आ रहा हूं। स्पष्ट कर दूं कि हमारे जैसे लोग डॉक्टर लोहिया की इस बात में यकीन करते हैं कि सबसे नीचे बैठे और सबसे ऊपर बैठे नौकरी पेशा की तनख्वाह 1 और 100 के बीच होना चाहिए, भारी अंतर नहीं।
I'm afraid this is not going on record because this is not a question.
सवाल पे मैं आ रहा हूं, पर निजीकरण की अर्थव्यवस्था ने सीमा तोड़ दी।
You are reading a statement.
सर, क्या कारण है कि बड़े पैमाने पर अपने सार्वजनिक क्षेत्रों के बैंकों में नियुक्तियां होनी है, पद खाली हैं और लोगों की नियुक्ति नहीं हो रही है?
Sir, Mr. Chairman, sir, the actual situation pertaining to our public sector banks, I would say, is quite different from what Honorable Member has suggested. If you actually look at the attrition rate that our banks have right now, it's only 4 to 5%, which is well below private sector banking levels, which shows that we are able to attract good people and they stay in the system. The other thing that Honorable Member should know, that the Indian Banking Personnel Selection Board every year runs a very competitive process to recruit people. We recruit every year somewhere between 25 to 30,000 people in the officer cadre and about the same number in the clerical cadre. For these, there are 15 lakh people taking the exam for the officer cadre, and about 14 lakh people taking the exam for the clerical cadre, and the acceptance rate is only 1.7, 1.8%. Mr. Chairman, sir, if these were not competitive employers, we wouldn't have those numbers.
Thank you. Second question.
5 सवाल बैंकिंग उससे जुड़े पूछे हैं, 2 के उत्तर नकारात्मक है और 3 के उत्तर बिल्कुल साफ नहीं है। पहला सवाल मेरा था,
you cannot go back to another question, just ask a supplementary question.
सर सप्लीमेंट्री, सर मैं सप्लीमेंट्री पूछ रहा हूं। मेरा सवाल है 1973 से 85 के बीच सार्वजनिक क्षेत्रों के बैंकों की शाखाओं में तेज विस्तार के दौरान बड़ी नियुक्तियां हुई। अब वो लोग बड़े पैमाने पर 2015 से 2020 के बीच रिटायर हो रहे हैं। आपने कहा है कि रिजर्व बैंक ने ऐसा नहीं कहा है कि डिकेड ऑफ रिटायरमेंट है बैंक ऑफिसर्स के लिए। मैं प्रमाण के साथ सर कहना चाहता हूं, कल के मिंट में ये खबर छपी है, हिंदू में खबर छपी है, और मैं प्रमाण के साथ कह सकता हूं कि पीटीआई ने 2-2 दिन ये खबर दी है कि किस तरह संख्या कम हो रही है और एज ऑफ रिटायरमेंट का दौर चल रहा है बैंकों में, वो संख्या भर नहीं पा रहे हैं। तो गलत सूचना कैसे आपने दी, यह मैं तथ्य आपके सामने रखना चाहता हूं।
Obviously, pressy writing has gone out of the school curricula.
Mr. Chairman, sir, I'll endeavor to be brief.
He does not have to give a long statement to ask the question. No, the question is valid. The question is valid, the preface is not.
Question is a question,
Yes.
sir, you're right.
Mr. Chairman, sir, again, I will point the honourable member to the facts. I don't think we should believe everything that is bandied about, but if you actually look to the facts are as following. Over the last 5 years, we've had retirements to the tune of about 1.65 lakhs. So the total number of retirements across all 3 cadres, officers, clerical and sub-staff, has been 1.65 lakhs. These are the total number of retirements in the last 5 years. In the last 5 years, the total number of hirings that have been done is 3.37 lakhs. So if you actually look at the inflow of people versus the people who are retiring, you'll see we are hiring many more people than are leaving. And therefore, I would not say at all that there is a problem of workforce in our public sector banks. And even as they are hiring people, they are following the recommendations of the Khandelwal committee. And in the Khandelwal committee, we have suggested that even as they hire people into the various slots, and the whole succession planning and the workforce planning is done in a very systematic, scientific way, it should be done keeping into account all the productivity measures that the banks are subject to. Thank you.
Dr. Subbaramanian Reddy.
This is a language now, neoliberal language.
Last item, how the government proposes to make the banks of the country capable and successful without recruiting persons in right time. Here my question is, sir, number of important public sector banks like Bank of Baroda, Canara Bank, Syndicate Bank, Punjab National Bank, for last 6 months you have not recruited chairmen. You have divided MD and chairman different. And when are you going to recruit? No time factor. 6 months if the banks are without head, how do you expect the efficiency of the banks? And also keep on changing rules. Just few days back we are going to announce the 57 years is necessary for the recruitment of the chairman, for the MD post. 58 man, he loses the opportunity if he is ED. There's also injustice done to several people. A lot of
question, please.
So my question is, I want a categorical reply. What is the time factor? How we are going to solve this problem? How we are going to make public sector more efficient by recruiting them in time as chairman and MD?
Thank you.
The government has introduced a series of very far-reaching reforms as far as the public sector banks are concerned. Those have been widely discussed in the media and elsewhere. I myself have spoken about them many times, so I will not go through those. But one which is a very important element in the manner in which we are changing the functioning of the public sector banks is changing the way in which we recruit the senior most people. As you know, we've separated the post of the chairman from the managing director. We have ensured that the selection process of both the chairman and the managing directors is done openly through a web-based selection process where people apply online. People apply online, and then there is a selection committee that goes through them in a very meritocratic way. This is a very different process than was followed in the past, and naturally as this would happen, it's taking us time to fill some of these very key and sensitive and vital posts in a way that is very different from the way it was done in the past. As a result of which, right now, there are 5 chairmen and managing directors that are being selected right now: the Bank of Baroda, Canara Bank, Punjab National Bank, IDBI Bank Limited and Bank of India. And even as these posts are vacant, we have asked the EDs who are there, the senior most EDs, to play the acting role of the chairman and managing directors. So even while we are going through a very revamped and a much better selection process, we are ensuring that the operations are continuing as normal. The senior most EDs are acting CMDs right now, and the banks are proceeding forward in the very important task of nation building that they're doing.
Thank you. Shri Ashok Ganguly.
Honorable Chairman, through you, I first of all wish to compliment the Honorable Finance Minister, because the move to separate the Chairman and Managing Director's role is very, very critical for the future development of the bank. However, the delay in completing the 5 banks that you mentioned is inexplicable, and it must be dealt with a great sense of urgency, because the issue really is not separation of the powers only, but the issue is of governance. And because of poor governance, the number of willful defaulters are increasing. And there is no action being taken about willful defaulters. There has been a lot of debate. My question to you, Honorable Minister, through the Chairman, is what specific steps is the Finance Ministry taking in order to deal most severely with willful defaulters, which have become a pastime of many leading people in this country to willfully default and get away with it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, sir, with respect to the urgency with which we are tackling these vacancies, the Honourable Member can be assured that we see this as a very important task. It's a very high priority task. As I've said, we have changed the selection process. And I would ask Honourable Members to recognize that what we're doing now, the separation of the Chairman's role from the MD's role, the willingness to be able to bring in people from the outside, the willingness to have both private sector as well as public sector executives to be running these banks, restaffing the boards. These are very far-reaching, broad changes, and they cannot be done hastily. And again, as Honourable Member himself has said, it's very important that the governance of these banks be done the right way, so that you can prevent willful defaulters and the excessive NPAs that we have in the system right now. Which is why, while we want to proceed with urgency, we also recognize that haste makes waste in this particular case.
Thank you. Shri Anil Desai.
Sir, through I would like to ask the Honorable Finance Minister that in the public sector banks, promotion policy in class 3 is a very sluggish and age-old, and because of the sluggish promotion policy, there's hardly any chance for the class 3 employees to go up higher on the ladder. And since there used to be a gap between the higher management and the lower management, there used to be a recruitment in the public sector banks in the middle management cadre, and that category is that recruitment in that category has been stopped for quite a while, and that has really reflected on the working of the public sector banks. Will the government take steps to ask the IBA authorities, that is Indian Banking Administration authorities, to undergo a drastic change in the promotional policy and start resume the middle management category recruitment? Thank you.
Sir, our public sector banks have complete autonomy as far as the human resources practices are concerned, but Honourable Member's suggestion is good, we shall consider it.
Thank you. Question 94. Question 94.
Your question. While making
Question
people
94.
put in the higher state.
Let the question be answered.
Sir, question number 94. The statement is laid on the table of the House.
Supplementary, please.
So last year, the demand for grants for the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare shows the reproductive and child health under the National Rural Health Mission was allotted rupees 5,700 crores. This year, the amount allocated under the RCH is around 4,500 crores, which is decreased by 20%. With such decrease in funds, how does the government propose to implement schemes and achieve the Millennium Development Goal target in the future? And for example, because of low amount of funds allocated for this, the Ashas, who are a very important integral part of the scheme, are being paid very low wages. It's 1/5 of, and they're not even being paid, given minimum wages, and they get around 1/5 of the minimum wages. So how are you actually going to make sure that this is going to be a successful mission with such bad?
First of all, I would like to make it clear that there is no cut in the funds. It was the new devolution which has taken place where the center-state relationship, and a committee has been formed under the Chief Ministership of Madhya Pradesh, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, where they are working out the percentage which has to be given from the state and the center together and how the program has to go forward. As far as the flagship programs are concerned, we are taking care that all necessary funds will be provided accordingly as the ratio is decided. Number one. Number two, this NHM, NUHM or NRHM, all these flagship programs which comes in NHM, these flagship programs we go for PIP, that is Plan Implementation Program, which is not done by us. It is done by the state. It is first in the district level, then at the state level. Whatever plans are approved, we give the finances accordingly. And I assure the member and through the members to the House and to the nation that there will be no cut or whatever is needed that will be given accordingly. That is what I would like to assure. Number one.
No, please.
Number one.
Please. Mr.
Number one.
Mr. Davidson, please. It's not your question. It's not your question. No. It's not a question of maybe. It is not.
I will answer accordingly. I will answer accordingly. Sir, this year, according to the recommendations of the 14th Finance Commission, the ratio is now different. A committee has been formed, and according to that, the money has been devolved to the state. They have to contribute also accordingly. Whatever is decided, we will work accordingly, and whatever we have to give, we will give it. That I assure.
Thank you. Second question. Second supplementary.
Number two, as far as the ASHA is concerned, you see, the accredited workers who are working, we are there to support them. It is the progression of the ASHA workers have to be programmed and planned by the states. Whatever they plan, we are going to give the support accordingly. So it is the states to decide how do the career progression system has to be developed. Where we are, and accordingly the PIP, the part has to be taken care. Whatever they plan, we will give the fund accordingly.
Second supplementary, please.
Sir, in Tamil Nadu, it has been showing good results in reducing the infant mortality rate. In the last 10 years, the IMR has dropped around by 50%. But however, in recent incidents in Dharmapuri and Vizhupuram have resulted in deaths of 13 and 7 infants within the space of 24 hours. We have come to know by research that medical negligence and poor government services...
Please allow the question to be answered. No, it is not your question. It is not your question. Let the minister handle it.
Sir, I will rephrase my question.
Please. We cannot have a situation.
Sir, this is
I am sorry. This will not be allowed. Please sit down.
Sir, let them...
Please sit down. It's not your question. It is not your question. It is not your question. It is not your question. The ballot is held. I'm sorry. I am sorry. It is not your question. You cannot interfere like this.
Sir, let me finish the question, then they can... Question
reduce the infant mortality.
I am sorry.
Sir, let them...
I am sorry. This kind of indiscipline is not possible. It is not your question. I'm sorry, I'll have to name the members if you are not careful.
I have said that it is reduced in Tamil Nadu. Sir, I have agreed that it is reduced in Tamil Nadu.
You cannot show banners or anything resembling banners. I'm sorry, I'm not interested in it. I think the intention of the honorable members is to disrupt the rest of the question hour. If that is so, it is injustice. Please sit down. Let the question be answered. The honorable minister will handle the question. It is not your question. Why are you interfering?
Sir, let them... Sir, they
Please
can do-
address the chair.
She can make a statement.
Don't get into...
Whether it is false or not.
Look,
Sir, allow me to
please,
finish the question.
if there is a false statement, you know the procedures. Please allow the question to be handled by the honorable minister to whom the question has been addressed. It is for the minister to decide. It is not for you to decide. No, I'm sorry. Sit down, please. Please sit down. Please sit down. It is not your question. How can you interfere in it? I am sorry.
Well, let her go through the...
It is a very sad thing
Give me a copy, sir. Sir,
that 9 members are interfering with the procedure. I'm sorry, I'm not interested in it because this is not your question.
She is making a false
It is not your question. If an allegation has been made, you know how to proceed.
in the past 10 years,
The truth is here.
Arey, truth hai. Or make a complaint. Make a written complaint. Chairman is there. Making complaint. Yes. You have to make a complaint. But you cannot disturb him. But you cannot.
I'm sorry, you can't show that here. Don't you know the rules of the house? Please, look, you are a party leader here. You are also a very eminent person in his own right. Why are you interfering like this? Yes, please. Please, please. Please, please. Please. I'm sorry, this is not permitted.
You go back. Right then, all right.
I am sorry. I will.
Sir, there has been a...
Will you please listen to the... 1 minute, please. Honorable Minister, please listen to the supplementary question that has been asked, or rather the second part of the main question. Go ahead, please.
sir, and there are complaints from different states all over the country that the maternity benefits reach the mothers in many cases only after the delivery has happened. So that it really does not actually help the mother during the pregnancy. So, and these cases are there all over India. So I'd like to the minister to answer about that in the context of the entire country.
Thank you. Thank you.
First of all, I would like to say that as far as the MMR is concerned, the situation globally is 40% decrease. But in India, the decrease is more than 46%. From 1990 to 2013, there has been a considerable decrease in the MMR and IMR. And this has been done with the good intervention of NHN. And the India Newborn Action Plan, where we take care of the mother right from the conception stage, first the adolescent stage, then the conception stage, and then the delivery stage and post-delivery stage. In all these stages, various programs are there. Janani Suraksha Yojana, Janani Suraksha Karyakram, where we see to it that the delivery is done, we encourage institutional deliveries. And we see to it that free transportation, free medical facilities, surgical interventions, and at the same time dropping the mother and the child back, and whatever blood is needed, whatever surgery is needed, all those types of interventions are done. So we'll be keeping a very close watch and the involvement of ASHA workers, A&M workers. The MMR and IMR has been a considerable decrease, and in coming times in 2015-16, it is further going to decrease. We are going to see to it that close monitor is being kept.
Thank you.
Number one. Number two, as far as the issue related to Dharampuri Government Medical College, Tamil Nadu is concerned, there has been report that 11 infant deaths, 8 female and 3 male, were in span of 4 days, 14/11/2014 at Dharampuri Medical College Hospital, Tamil Nadu. State has responded to the situation by immediately conducting an inquiry and taking action. As per the report, the main cause of the death in the newborns were prematurity, LBW, birth, asphyxia, etc. The maternal health care during the pregnancy is closely linked with the newborn health. The neonatal intensive care unit at Dharampuri Government Medical College is adequately staffed and has 29 radiant warmers, 10 phototherapy units, 7 ventilators. It is manned by 19 staff nurses, 24/7 doctor availability.
Shri Ahmed Patel. No, that's all. You have asked your question. You have asked your 2 questions. If the answer is inaccurate, please point out. No, please sit down. Please, Mr. Tapan Sen, this is not your question. Please. No. Ms. Karnir Moji, please sit down. Please sit down, Mr. Ahmed Patel. Please sit down. Both. Please sit down.
Sir.
Please sit down.
सर, नियोनेटल मोर्टालिटी को घटाने के लिए यूपीए सरकार ने कुछ महत्वपूर्ण कदम उठाए, जिसमें से इंसेंटिवाइजिंग इंस्टीट्यूशनल डिलीवरी, नंबर 2 एस्टैब्लिशिंग न्यू बॉर्न केयर यूनिट इन ऑल डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स एंड डिप्लॉइंग आशा वर्कर्स अंडर द नेशनल हेल्थ मिशन। मंत्री जी ने अभी अपने उत्तर में बताया कि जो बजट कट हुआ उससे ये कार्यक्रम पे कोई असर नहीं पड़ेगा, लेकिन मैं मंत्री महोदय से ये जानना चाहता हूँ कि ऑन व्हाट बेसिस ही इज सेइंग, क्योंकि 1 साल हुआ है, 1 साल में आपके पास कोई ऐसी मॉनिटरिंग सिस्टम है, आपने कोई ऐसा सर्वे कराया है कि जिसकी वजह से बजट एलोकेशन में जो कट हुआ है उस पर नेशनल हेल्थ मिशन है उस पर कोई असर नहीं हुआ, और यूपीए सरकार ने जो कदम उठाए थे उससे मोर्टालिटी रेट जो है 39% से 28% होता है, मीन्स 11% घटा। 1 साल में ये बजट कट की वजह से ऑन व्हाट बेसिस आप ये कह सकते हैं कि इससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा? क्या आपके पास ऐसी कोई सिस्टम है, कोई मॉनिटरिंग सिस्टम है? और नंबर 2, आशा वर्कर्स जो है उसकी सैलरी की समस्या बहुत बड़ी समस्या है, तो क्या इनकी समस्या आप कब तक हल कर पाएंगे ताकि ये जो प्रोग्राम है उस पर इसका असर ना हो?
थैंक यू।
फिर समझाना चाहूंगा माननीय सदस्य जी को कि नेशनल हेल्थ मिशन को चलाने के लिए फॉर एग्जाम्पल X amount is needed. Now new devolution has taken place. According to the devolution, states have got 10% more. They have to spend on these heads accordingly. A committee has been set up. That committee is led by Shivraj Singh, the Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, and another 7 or 9 members, Chief Ministers are there. They are going to decide the ratio of all these programs, national flagship programs, what is going to be the ratio of the state and the center. Whatever the ratio is there, whatever less money is there, that will be taken care of by the Government of India. So there is no cut of the funds. ये allocation का differentiation, क्योंकि अब ये नया इस साल ही हुआ है, it is evolving, this process is evolving, but whatever amount is needed for NHM and all flagship programs, किसी में भी कोई कटौती नहीं होगी, यह मैं आपके माध्यम से सबको एश्योर करना चाहता हूं, और इसको हम इसी तरीके से पूरा करेंगे. Now NHM, how it is done? It is not done by us. The state governments, they develop the plan implementation program, PIP they develop. It from the district it goes to the state level. From state level it comes to Delhi, where we sit and accordingly the share is decided and we give accordingly. 9 states का state plan approve हो चुका है, बाकी states आ रहे हैं. जो जिस तरीके से आएगा, जितना पैसा चाहिएगा वो दिया जाएगा. आशा वर्कर्स के लिए भी हम लोगों ने जो एक इंसेंटिव दिया है, प्रोग्रेशन का जहां तक सवाल है, उनको ANM के रूप में सीट्स मिले, उनको बाकी आगे उनका प्रोग्रेस कैसे हो सकता है, ये स्टेट्स को डिसाइड करना है. और स्टेट्स अपने प्रोग्राम के इंप्लीमेंटेशन में जो बजटिंग रखेगी उसमें हम सपोर्ट करेंगे, ये हम कहना चाहते हैं.
ठीक, श्री नरेश अग्रवाल.
वैसे तो मंत्री जी आपने काफ़ी विस्तार में उत्तर दिया है, लेकिन आपको शायद मालूम है, आपको स्वीकार कर रहे हैं कि बच्चों की मृत्यु दर का कारण एक तो पीलिया है जो बच्चों में बहुत होता है, दूसरा आपके पास वेंटिलेटर की बहुत कमी है तमाम जगह जब बच्चों को देने को होती है, और मेरे ख्याल अधिकांश जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट हॉस्पिटल्स हैं उनमें ये उपलब्ध नहीं है। दूसरा एक और चीज़ है कि तमाम जो प्राइवेट नर्सिंग होम है उन्होंने ये सब बच्चों की केयर इस बारे करना बंद कर दी शिवन कि बच्चा जैसे मरता झगड़ा शुरू हो जाता, बहुत से डॉक्टर मारे जा रहे हैं, इस बारे सारे डॉक्टर उसके अपने आप बंद कर
सवाल पूछ लीजिए, समय कम है।
तो मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूँ कि क्या सारे डिस्ट्रिक्ट हॉस्पिटल्स के लिए जो पूरे कंट्री में हैं उनके लिए ये वेंटिलेटर या पीलिया जो बच्चों की मृत्यु होती इनको रोकने के लिए एपरेटस लगाने के लिए कोई योजना बनाएंगे? यदि हाँ तो कब तक या नहीं तो कहीं?
थैंक यू
सर। ये एनएचएम के प्रोग्राम में, एनयूएचएम के प्रोग्राम में इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के डेवलपमेंट के लिए, पीएचसीज के डेवलपमेंट के लिए, सीएचसीज के डेवलपमेंट के लिए ये जो हमारे अपने स्पेशल न्यू बॉर्न केयर यूनिट्स हैं, उसी तरीके से जो कंगारू मदर केयर यूनिट्स हैं, और ये जो डिलीवरी के दृष्टि से जितने भी इक्विपमेंट्स और इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की आवश्यकता है, स्टेट्स जो प्लान करके देंगी, जितना करके देंगी, उसको हम पूरा करेंगे। यह देश की कमिटमेंट है, एनएचएम की कमिटमेंट है, वो हम पूरा करेंगे। प्लान्स उनको ला करके देना है। If it is related to incubator, if it is related to ventilator, the number, the place where they want it, they have to give include into the plans. We will accordingly support it.
Thank you, Shri Pawan Kumar Verma.
Many of the schemes, but it is also a matter of privilege. My question is very short. Will the minister reassure the House that in spite of the devolution under the 14th Finance Commission, there have been no cuts in the budget allocated for health?
Thank you.
I told very specifically that there will be no dearth of funds as far as these flagship programs at the center is concerned. I'm very clear about it. I'm very clear about it. We have given a shelf. Whatever amount is needed, that amount will be given by the government of India. That is what I would like to say. But at this point of time, because the devolution has taken place, a committee is set up. They are deciding the ratio. Accordingly, whatever the ratio the center owes, that will be given and that will be taken care of.
No,
In spite of
please.
the devolution, there is a cut. I want the minister to reassure us.
Thank you. Thank you. Question 95.
Sir. Question number
Let the answer be given.
Sir, question number 95. A statement A to D, a statement is laid on the table of the House.
Supplementary, please.
मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ हेल्थ अफेयर का मैं पढ़ता हूँ जरा प्रेस नोट। नेशनल अर्बन हेल्थ मिशन के तहत इस मिशन को व्यय वित्त समिति ने 9 अक्टूबर 2012 को प्रतिपादित किया। धनराशि प्लानिंग कमीशन ने आवंटित किया, जिसके अनुसार 2012 से 17 5 ईयर प्लान के बीच 15,143 करोड़ रुपए का आवंटन होना था, परंतु 2013-14 के लिए मात्र 1 करोड़ रुपए आवंटित हुआ है, जो सोशल सेक्टर के नाम पर जिस तरह की कटौती हो रही है उसका नंगा सबूत है। परंतु अब प्लानिंग कमीशन भी निलंबित कर दिया गया है।
पूछ लें।
अब इसके लिए आवंटित धनराशि का आधिकारिक स्रोत क्या होगा, ये कहां से आएगा? और इस वर्ष बजट में स्वास्थ्य पर खर्च का प्रावधान और भी कम कर दिया है। क्या इस
सवाल क्या है?
धनराशि इसी स्वास्थ्य बजट से आएगा या कोई और प्रावधान है?
थैंक यू।
इनका इस प्रश्न से संबंध, जो प्रश्न उन्होंने पूछा उसका इससे संबंध नहीं है। ये एनयूएचएम के बारे में प्रश्न है। एनयूएचएम के बारे में प्रश्न इन्होंने जनरल बजट के बारे में किया, ये एनयूएचएम के बारे में करें, मैं जवाब देता हूँ।
दूसरा सवाल है कोई आपके पास?
सर, अब राष्ट्रीय शहरी स्वास्थ्य मिशन को एनजीओ के हवाले करने का प्रयास है। कई शहरी गरीब अस्थायी रूप से शहर में रहते हैं और काम करते हैं। इस हालत में लोगों के स्पष्ट और उचित पंजीकरण करवाने का सरकार का क्या प्रावधान है?
थैंक यू
सर। वैसे प्रश्न फिर भी स्पष्ट नहीं हुआ, लेकिन मैं फिर बताना चाहूंगा कि नेशनल अर्बन हेल्थ मिशन जो 2013 में कंसीव करके ये नया है, इट इज़ एट द स्टेबलाइजिंग स्टेज। यहाँ इनके बिहार में एनयूएचएम का एनजीओज के साथ एक पीपीपी मॉडल में वहाँ पर इसको आगे बढ़ाने का प्रयास किया गया है। जो कुछ भी इन्होंने फंडिंग कही है उसको फंडिंग को देने का प्रयास किया गया है 2014
I'm afraid question hour is over. Statement by Minister correcting answer to question. Dr. Sharma.
Honorable Chairman.
Lay kar dijiye.
Sir, it is laid on the table.
Thank you very much. Message from Lok Sabha.
I beg to report that the Lok Sabha at its sitting held on the 30th of April 2015 passed the Finance Bill 2015. The Speaker has certified that this bill is a money bill within the meaning of Article 110 of the Constitution. I lay a copy of the bill on the table.
House is adjourned till 2 p.m.